Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is my vlog number 2, so I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. So I'm wearing my uniform so that you guys get the flight attendant vibe today. Why am I in my uniform? I don't know. I'm not working. I just did it for the sake of this video. It's really annoying, guys, this scarf. There's different ways to tie it, but it makes me claustrophobic a little bit, but I just deal with it. And normally my hair would be up, but I'm not going to work. I'm just chilling in my apartment, so it's okay if it's down. It doesn't matter. Alright, so today's vlog is about my story, how I became a flight attendant, and why I became a flight attendant. I applied to my first airline when I was 19 years old, and at this point in my life, I was going to community college part-time and then serving at a restaurant part-time. And I just didn't know where I wanted to go with my life. I made honor roll in high school, but I wasn't a big brainiac. Like, I wasn't really into anything the teachers were saying. Basically, I hated school. I wish I wanted to go to college and focus on have my own major and stuff, but even when I was taking classes at Valencia Community College, I was not having it. I would skip a lot of classes, and I was like, what is the point? I don't know what I want to do with my life. What is the point of just taking these general classes and wasting money on them when I have no idea what I want to do? When my grandparents passed away, a new family moved in next door. I lived next to my grandparents my whole life, so I lived next to them, and when they passed away, a new family came in. Daisy! So when they passed away, a new family moved in, and they're really nice people. And the woman, the wife that lived there, somehow I went over to her house one day, or we were talking in the yard, and she was like, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to school for? And I was like, general education. I don't know what I want to do. And she's like, well, why don't you become a flight attendant? It was very random. Very, very random. So her husband works for a legacy airline, and he's not a flight attendant or a pilot or anything, but she was just telling me how awesome his benefits are. They get to fly for free on standby and insurance and all that good stuff. So I was like, maybe I should give this a shot. I've never flown on a plane before. So my first flight, actually, after I got accepted to go to this open house interview in Fort Lauderdale, my mom drove to Fort Lauderdale with all my luggage, and I flew on the airline that I was interviewing with. It was like a 30-minute flight from Orlando to Fort Lauderdale. So I did that, got there, went through the whole interview process, and I'm going to explain that in a whole different video. That'll be on how to become a flight attendant or how to prepare for your interview. So right now I just want to talk about my personal story, which gets a little bit personal because after I started with this airline, and I was hired and I was working, I was on reserve the first 6 months, and then I got a line. About a year and 4 months after I started my first airline, I quit, and I just didn't really appreciate the job that I had when I had it. I also was just going through a lot of personal things. I had really bad anxiety. I don't know, I was just in a weird place in my life where I still, even though I was a flight attendant, I still didn't know if that was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I was just very confused, I would say. Very confused, going through a rough time that year. Yes, I quit. And I soon regretted quitting, a month and a half after, because I realized how big I messed up this great opportunity. People apply for years and they don't get the face-to-face interview, they don't get the online interview, I got so lucky, and I was so blessed to be able to start at an airline at 19 years old. And I definitely was just too young to appreciate it and understand that You know, to be successful in life, you need to stick with something. You gotta find something that you're good at and that you are passionate about. And at the time, I just didn't know. I just didn't know, and I regret it, and I still regret it. But everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. That's something that I truly, truly believe in. Anything bad that has happened to me, has honestly, in the end, whether it be 6 months, a year later, and I look back and I'm like, wow, that happened so that this could happen. It's like an effect, like a, what do you call it? Is it domino effect? I'm gonna go with domino effect. So, like I said, went back to serving again. Thinking about going back to school. I hate school. The thought of it, I was like, I'm gonna throw up. Like, I don't want to go back to school. No. So, I started looking for airline jobs again. But in the end, like, the airline that I'm at now, I am so happy that I am here. Way happier than I was at my first airline. I love it. I love that Orlando is a base. This is where I'm from. This is home. So I just know, like, even though I'm going back to JFK in February, I can always come back to Orlando because in a few years I'll be able to hold a line here, and it's just amazing. Like, I love my airline. I'm so grateful and fortunate and blessed that I have this second chance to be a flight attendant. So it's like, it's just crazy to me that I've met people at multiple airline interviews that have applied like for 5 years now, or I've been applying for this many years. I've applied to 10 different airlines. Literally, I think I've applied to 3 or 4 airlines, and two of them I've worked at. So I just think it's obviously was a sign that I should be a flight attendant. It was like God was saying, like, Jordan, you messed up with this one, but I believe in you. So here's another chance, and you better stick with it. And I am gonna stick with it. I plan on being a flight attendant for a long time. So I definitely will be posting future videos on what to expect during your flight attendant training and how to prepare for your interview and how the interviews are set up, which is good because I've been to 3 interviews and I've gotten hired at 2. So I'll definitely explain more about that in a different vlog for you guys. I just wanted to share you guys my story of how I became a flight attendant and the ups and downs that came with it. So if you want to become a flight attendant and you don't want to wait for me to post videos, there's definitely other YouTube vloggers out there that have more information on how to become a flight attendant, how to apply to your airline, what to expect in training. I will be posting those shortly, but if you don't want to wait, go check theirs out. And also do your own research. People ask me all the time, like, so many questions. Google it, guys, Google it. Keep in mind when you are applying to an airline where you live, because if you apply to an airline that is based in like Alaska, you might have to have a really, really hard and long commute. So definitely do your research. Look at what airlines, what their bases are. See what bases does Delta have? What bases does Spirit have? Or JetBlue or United? Like, look them all up and see what would fit best for you and write in order. You know, well, I love San Francisco and I live 30 minutes away, so I'm going to choose this airline because that's one of their junior bases, and, you know, so on and so forth, like that. But definitely keep in mind you will have to possibly have a crash pad when you get hired, because when I was hired, I got my second to last choice, which was Boston. So I had to commute to Boston, and I was living in a crash pad for, let's see, about 7 months. Yeah, crash pad in Boston for 7 months. So I would go to my crash pad from Orlando, either the night before or the morning of, get there, and I'd be on a 5 or 6 day block, or a 3 or a 4 day block. But I try to get them over with as soon as possible. So let me just give you a quick example. So I would get to Boston. I'm very junior. I just got hired, so I would sit my 6 day reserve block. Day 1, didn't get called. Day 2, didn't get called. Day 3, I sat airport standby, which you just go to the airport and you sit in the crew lounge, and if they need you last minute, they'll call you. Usually wouldn't get used to airport standby. If I did, great. If I didn't, I went back to my crash pad. So day 4 or 5 go by, nothing, haven't gotten called. Day 6, I'm calling crew service. I'm like, hey, can I get released early? I want to go home and make my commute. No, actually, we have a turn for you. I'm like, legit, this has happened to me. We have a turn for you. It's a so-and-so report time, blah, 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 blah. You're going here, you're coming back. You'll be home at like 11:30 at night. I'm like, so you're telling me I can't go home tonight? Reserve life is hard, especially if you do not live at your base, which you most likely are not going to live at your base when you first start, because you literally are at the bottom of the seniority list. Like, you're a brand new little baby. You don't get any good trips. And that'll also be in another video. I'll have a reserve life video, an airport standby life, because I'm still on reserve in Orlando. It's just 10 times better when you're at home and you live 10 minutes away from the airport, because they call you up. You have 2 hours to get to your gate to report. Also, to get back on subject, I just wanted to say that you can't just go on, well, you can just go on an airline's website and apply, but like my airline that I work for, they have a hiring window. So what they'll do is they'll email us, they'll email their crew members, and they'll be like, hey, just so you guys know, we are hiring from this date to this date, so if you have any friends or you want to recommend anybody, this is the time they need to submit their applications in. This is when it's going to open, and this is when it's going to close. So it's a very small window. You can't just wake up one morning and be like, I want to become a flight attendant, let me go apply. Because most likely, you're not going to be able to. At least for my airline. I'm not really sure if you can at others, but I'm like 80% sure that every airline has like their hiring windows, and they're very, very random. Just keep looking. Honestly, if you really want to become a flight attendant, every day you should be out there looking to see if any hiring windows are opening on each airline's website that you want to apply for. Alright guys, well that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to also subscribe. So I hope you guys have a great Friday, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys next time.